On September 17, 2025, we pause once again to remember extraordinary individuals whose paths touched sports, philosophy, journalism, and art. They were champions on the field, pioneers in thought, storytellers of truth, and leaders of vision. Their work shaped how we understand success, not just through fame or achievement, but through persistence, courage, and purpose. From the Super Bowl stadiums of San Francisco to the philosophical classrooms of Berkeley, from British Parliament halls to film studios of America, their stories form a chorus of legacy. Each life, a reminder that even in endings, there is a continuation, in memory, in influence, and in the lives they've touched. Jim Fahnhorst stood tall among the greats of the San Francisco 49ers dynasty. As part of the legendary team that claimed 3 Super Bowls, his grit and reliability earned him the respect of teammates and fans alike. He brought to the field not just power, but discipline. A student of the game who turned effort into excellence. Off the field, he was known for humility and quiet leadership, the kind that inspires without demanding attention. After football, he devoted his time to family and community, always reminding young athletes that true champions carry their character beyond the game. His passing leave behind not just memories of victory, but a lasting lesson in integrity and heart. John Harris was more than a golfer. He was a gentleman of the game. Winner of the 1993 U.S. Amateur and a veteran of the PGA Tour, Harris represented perseverance in a sport defined by patience and precision. He returned to competitive golf even after setbacks, proving that age and adversity could never dull his competitive spirit. Off the green, he mentored young players and advocated for golf as a discipline that built both skill and character. His passing after a brave fight with leukemia closes a chapter of quiet excellence, a man whose composure on the course mirrored his grace in life. Leo Hindery believed business should be a force for good. As a cable television executive, entrepreneur, and advocate for workers' rights, he built his reputation not only on success, but on fairness. He stood for equity in boardrooms, opportunity in communities, and decency in leadership, values that made him both respected and beloved. Hindery's vision connected people, not just through media, but through shared purpose. At 77, his legacy remains woven into the story of American enterprise, a reminder that compassion and ambition can walk hand in hand. Allie Light saw the world through the eyes of empathy. Her Academy Award-winning documentary In the Shadow of the Stars celebrated the unsung voices behind opera's brilliance, a theme that echoed throughout her life's work. She told stories of women, struggle, resilience, and truth, crafting films that gave dignity to lives often overlooked. Her collaborations, her gentle defiance, and her devotion to justice through art made her one of the quiet giants of American documentary film. Even in her 90s, she continued to inspire younger filmmakers to see storytelling as an act of compassion. Her lens is now still, but the light she shared continues to illuminate. John Ruby transformed the way audiences experience entertainment. From leading age TV to shaping the vision of Fathom events, he believed stories deserve to be shared, live, communal, unforgettable. He brought Broadway shows, concerts, and films to theaters across America, merging the digital and the real to create something universal. Colleagues remember him as a visionary who led with kindness, creativity, and boundless enthusiasm. At 73, his contributions continue every time an audience gathers to share an experience together, just as he intended. For more than 2 decades in the Nebraska legislature, Lawrence Schmidt was known as the People's Senator. He served farmers, small towns, and working families with a voice rooted in plain honesty. He believed politics should be personal, that to represent people, you must first listen to them. Schmidt's legacy isn't measured in bills or committees, but in trust, the trust of those who knew he spoke for them. At 96, his story stands as a reminder that real leadership begins with service. John Searle devoted his life to understanding consciousness, and in the process, taught humanity to better understand itself. His Chinese Room thought experiment became a landmark in the study of artificial intelligence and the philosophy of mind. A longtime professor at UC Berkeley, Searle was known for his clarity, his challenging questions, and his insistence that language and thought define what it means to be human. While controversy later shadowed his career, his influence on modern philosophy is undeniable. his ideas sparking debate, reflection, and inspiration around the world. At 93, his intellectual legacy endures wherever minds continue to ask what it truly means to think. Judge Sam Sparks served on the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas with distinction and wit. Known for his sharp intellect and sometimes wry humor, he presided with fairness and believed deeply in the integrity of the judicial system. Sparks understood that the law was not just about rules, but about people, and that justice, tempered with compassion, could restore more than it punished. His decades on the bench leave behind a reputation of strength balanced with empathy. David Stabler had a rare gift. He could make readers hear with their eyes. As the Oregonian's music critic, he described sound so vividly that audiences felt as though they were seated beside him in the concert hall. He believed that every musician, every note, carried a story worth telling. His writing bridged the gap between art and audience, intellect and emotion. At 72, his words remain like quiet echoes, proof that art, when shared with love, becomes timeless. Barry Seal spent 20 years in the European Parliament, representing Britain during an era of transformation and tension. He was known for diplomacy and dedication, a steady advocate for cooperation, equality, and collective good. To those who worked alongside him, Seal was more than a politician. He was a listener, a bridge builder, and a believer in progress. At 87, his service reflects a time when public duty was guided by conviction and care. Roger Clemson was one of television's true gentlemen. Born in England and celebrated in Australia, he became the reassuring voice of nightly news, the warmth behind This Is Your Life, and the calm presence viewers trusted for decades. He brought humanity to every broadcast, reminding audiences that sincerity was the heart of communication. His career spanned continents, generations, and mediums, but his kindness remained constant. At 93, he leaves behind not just a career, but a feeling that honesty and compassion always belong on air. Today we remember Jim Fahnhorst, John Harris, Leo Hindery, Allie Light, John Ruby, Lauren Schmidt, John Searle, Sam Sparks, David Stabler, Barry Seal, and Roger Clemson. Athletes, thinkers, creators, and servants of the public, each gave something irreplaceable to the world. Their stories span decades, their legacies span generations. And as we honor them, we are reminded that greatness is not measured by fame or fortune, but by how deeply a life touches others. Their lights may have dimmed, but their impact continues to shine. In every echo of their work, in every person they inspired, they live on, still shaping the world they left behind.